All right. Me 3.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dave, everything's going to be okay.
Hey, why you bitching?
I told you I'm in a foul mood.
Hey, your mouth is a normal size, though.
Count your
put
lucky
mine there.
stars.
That's the beginning of the show. He says put on airs and then nobody says anything.
Yep,
I hope
that's...
Steve-O or Brad is saying something.
Nope.
Out of the
nobody
gate
said-
with a vengeance, baby.
Nobody
Verbal
said
Assault 2019, New Year, not the first episode of the New Year. Who's doing the math here? Welcome back to our something disconnected. We'll find out what it is later.
We've
Welcome back
almost
to
doubled in size this week from last week.
Doubled.
Oh,
Double
I know
trouble.
I have. So happy to be here.
His erection grew 3 sizes that day.
All right, Dave, tell me how I make it where I just see the chat on my phone. Can you do that?
Oh, you tap the upper right.
Oh, the little dot, yeah. Oh, chat only. Excellent. Thank you.
This is helpful information for the listeners, too, if they only want to see the chat and not the video.
And not use up all their data.
It's not a good sign when right at the beginning of the show I feel like I need Kachaka.
No, it's not. That is not
Get this party rolling.
I hope everything's okay in there.
It sterilizes itself as you drink.
Tell that to the smell in this room from the eggnog I spilled.
It's not it's not eggnog. It's gonna have fucking milk and eggs and shit in it.
They know how to make a good liquor. Get rid of all this milk. Get rid of all these eggs.
Sugar cane alcohol.
And this room smells like garbage. It smells real bad.
Coming to you live from a podcast studio that smells like garbage.
How's everybody feeling?
Oh,
I know Dave's in a foul mood.
Dave is in a foul mood. He's checked in.
Foul.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him.
We already went over. I was in foul mood.
Foul mood. He's determined. He
Ah,
is determined.
Maintain that foul mood.
Spa radio doesn't help.
Oh, no. Richard phone didn't help.
No.
Dave, you know if you were actually in a foul mood, you would have just stayed home and made up an excuse to not be here.
Today I tried. Did you not see it?
Yeah,
I know
we
you
saw
tried.
it.
I mean,
I wasn't going to let you.
I was
I'm going to be late. Just go ahead and start without me.
What time? Tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow.
right. Listen this week. You'll see. You'll see.
Dave, I can't do it without you.
Yes,
I
you
mean,
can.
If you really can make it, you got to be here.
I know.
Listen, guys. I'm entitled to have a bad day. I cannot be everybody's Himalayan saltstone.
You're a beautiful human sunbeam, Dave, and we need you here.
We need your sunshine to brighten our dull, dreary life.
Yeah.
I got something that'll either make you happy or really sad that you can't do this anymore. In 1913, it was legal to mail children. With stamps attached to their clothing, children rode trains to their destinations accompanied by letter carriers.
It's awesome.
And I followed up by, I went to Snopes. It's the best place I know to find out if it's true. But apparently it was for a short time until too many people started doing it, and they finally made a law to make it illegal.
You're like, wait a minute. This seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, you can send up to 11 pounds. They had at that time back then.
Wait, 11 pounds?
They had an 11-pound limit. So we're talking like babies.
Right.
God, can you imagine what a game changer that would have been for Moses? I mean, he wouldn't have to slope down a river. I mean, he was just a baby. Oh, gosh.
Christian humor. Christian and Jewish humor.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
Fellas, I don't know about you, but really
it was more about cutbacks. The post office had to. That was the first cutback they made. Instead of raising stamps, they go, "No more children. We can't raise the price of stamps. People will just be upset about that. So just no children mail."
I saw in there. Let's see. Where's it at? It was like 53 cents in, I guess, those days dollars. It was like 11 stamps or something.
What? You could buy a town for that price back then in those days for 53 cents.
Speaking of buying towns, we don't necessarily need to get into it, but me, Brad, and Steve have a plan for that old West town. That's all you guys need to know right now.
Oh yeah,
We are going to purchase it, and we've got plans for it.
cool.
We're moving it to Mayonnaise Mountain.
Funding secured.
All right.
Mayonnaise Mountain. Did you guys do mushrooms without me? What are you guys talking about?
I'm not even
Thing
sure.
to it.
I was in a state between awake and asleep, and I was just rambling off stream of consciousness.
There was
Oh
Bud
my
Light.
God.
There was Coors Light. There was Riesling. Is that how you pronounce that wine I
Riesling.
drank?
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah.
Full bottle of it.
Yeah.
That's what was involved.
I ate an entire bucket of chicken that night.
Yeah, we had a never-ending bucket of fried chicken and a never-ending bucket of spare ribs.
And a
Yeah,
never-ending
you-
bucket of beer. Yeah.
Dave,
My putty is soiled. Look, it won't move.
I'm
It's
sorry
disgusting.
that your putty is stuck to the table because of the eggnog I
Look,
spilled.
that
I
is
promise I'll clean it.
Fucked up, man.
I'll promise I'll clean it.
That just makes my foul mood more.
Oh well, I'm
More
sorry.
foul.
Fowler.
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 Talking about food. Speaking of food, last week I was in Atlanta, and I wanted to go to a Spanish restaurant, and I got to this. I mean, Atlanta is huge, and I found this one place was in this one fucking swanky 3 blocks of town. Got into the car park, went in there.
ATL!
Yeah.
Was it anywhere near the Claremont Lounge?
No, no.
That's
It's a
kind of
damn shame.
that's a swanky side of town.
Definitely wrong, different side of town. Claremont Lounge. But I got to the Spanish place, and it was so packed. It was like 3 people deep at the bar. You couldn't get in. The
Yeah.
table was packed. There was a line out the door, and so I got kind of depressed. I'm walking around, and every single place was packed that I could see. And I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm just gonna drive around and find something." But as I was going back to the parking garage, I see a sushi place on the left,
Mhm.
very inconspicuous, kind of built like into the. It almost looked like it was part of the wall of the garage. Almost.
Like they don't want too many people to know.
yeah,
More like it was in the garage. A garage sushi place.
I mean, it looked like it, but no, this place was. It was called MF Sushi. I don't know if that means motherfucking.
It
I
better.
wanted to ask, and then I forgot. But I just, they have the little sit down bar in front of the sushi chefs.
Yeah.
So I just went in and sat down. There was actually a space to sit, and I had the best sushi that I have ever had.
The best garage sushi in existence.
Okay, including tip. I told you guys last week I spent $160.
Oh, this place. Yeah.
Yeah. $35 was a tip, so $125 I spent, and they had what is called the highest grade beef in the world,
Kobe.
A5 Wagyu beef,
Yeah, Wagyu, y'all.
and it was like nigiri, like so they made it like sushi, so like the beef was laid on top of some rice and with like a sliver of jalapeno and something else on it, and those 2 pieces. It was like $24.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, it was the thing. Like I had to try it. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. What does
Is that-
$25 sushi taste like?
yeah. I'd heard about it. I'd heard about this beef, and I was like, I have to try it. I'm fuck it. I have money to spend. I'll spend it.
Yeah.
I can go to the Spanish place, so I'm gonna spend as much money here as I can. But it was like I could not. As soon as it goes in your mouth, it just like melted.
Mm-hmm.
You could not tell the difference between the steak and the rice.
Wow.
It just like it fell apart. It was so good. It was amazing. Totally worth trying.
Savory. It was savory.
It was steaky. It was just steaky and
Steaky.
so tender. It was unbelievable.
On the other side of that, this morning, me and Brad ate something called clucker swimming in gravy.
Yeah.
Similar to sushi. The way the gravy
so
just
good at
melts in your
sushi.
mouth.
You couldn't tell the clucker from the gravy. Like it all just melted in your mouth. It was great.
Was that
There
was that before or after Brad tried to drop you off at Orlando International instead of Sanford?
It was before.
Oh, we were well fed on that long car ride.
Croco and gravy.
So was that chicken and biscuits and gravy?
It was a
something?
restaurant called Bacon and Blues.
Grits and
And-
eggs,
Oh,
too.
okay.
You walk in there, they have a television that is playing bacon cooking the whole
Solely
day.
dedicated
All day
to
long,
just
just
watching bacon fry.
Just live bacon sizzling in a pan. everything is made with bacon.
Have you ever watched those YouTube videos? They must be probably it's the bacon ones.
Bacon ASMR.
Yeah.
Probably.
Something, man. Those things are
Yeah.
amazing.
What I like to jerk off to:
Huge
bacon frying in a
bacon.
pan.
You can do it at Bacon Blues.
Do it in Mayonnaise Mountain.
That's how Mayonnaise Mountain was created.
Well, that sounds like an awesome sushi experience. That sounds very
Yeah, it
fun.
wasn't even my favorite part was actually the unagi,
Ooh.
The eel.
the freshwater eel.
I like eel.
It was so good. It's like fish, but it has the consistency of pork,
Mhm.
kind of, and it had that kind of like slight pond swampy taste to it.
Everybody loves the
Oh
pond.
no, I do.
taste.
It was so fucking
sounds
good. It was my
nasty.
favorite thing was the unagi.
I like eel a lot.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
the beef part that was raw still, right?
No, what they did was it was mostly raw, but they blowtorched the top of it. So they just took a blowtorch on the so the top was kind of cooked, but underneath it was raw.
Is that for
Very-
safety? Like to
No,
make sure?
Tradition.
No, I mean you can buy raw. I mean,
It's just so weird to me.
like beef tartare is raw.
That's that one show we were watching the other day, Brad. That sushi guy was that they were serving raw beef too, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of raw beef sushi
Just
in
seems-
Japan.
man.
If it's high quality, it's good. I
Yeah.
don't like I won't eat a hamburger that's not well cooked because even though it's a small chance, I don't want to think about 10 years from now getting mad cow disease and going crazy and dying.
Oh, is that how it works? It sets in like years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
get it's prion, so they get in there and your protein starts getting all funky and it's not replicating itself correctly and it gets all bent out of whack and then you start going crazy because your brain the proteins are getting fucked up. So don't want that. Don't
No,
want
you
that.
don't want that.
Some guy in Tennessee in Nashville just died from that
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
And from from something he ate 10 years ago. Can you imagine? You're just dying. You're just dying. They're like, we think it's something that you ate a long time ago.
Think about it all the time, man. Just dying.
Just
Just dying.
That's some long food poisoning.
Becca, what you were in Florida for a week. How'd that go?
Oh, it was a great time.
Tell me about your first day.
The first day. All right.
Tell
Holy.
everybody about your first day.
Okay. We'll start at the beginning. I get to the airport. I would say, what time was that? 6
yeah,
o'clock?
it
or
was
so?
long
Easy,
before
Brad.
I got off work.
What's wrong with you?
Dave, what the
What?
fuck are you doing right now?
I was looking for my thing.
Why'd you say easy bread? What's going on?
What?
I can't find my thing.
What thing?
Easy
My
bread.
rubber.
Your rubber?
What kind of podcast is this? Verbal assault, not anal assault.
Whoa.
My
Pussy assault.
my headphone keeps falling on my ear. It's bugging me because see?
Dave, take that piece of silly putty.
Nope, you can't. Covered in
It's
eggnog.
attached.
Take that thing and slap it in your ear. Take that putty.
Please don't. It's gonna get stuck in your ear, and then we're gonna have to take you to the doctor.
Oh,
We have
I
to take
like
it
it.
to the
It's a good
hospital.
idea.
Foolish little boy.
Like a 4-year-old shit.
Yep. It's
Well-
stuck in my ear and I can't get it out.
Baby, what'd you put in your ear this time?
Oh.
All right. So I get to the airport 6 o'clock or so, and I text those boys and I say, I'm on the ground. What's the plan? Well, it's going to be about 8 o'clock before I get off work, is what I hear.
At
so
least, yeah.
I've got a good solid 2 hours at least of waiting at the airport. And I contemplate how much it's going to be to get an Uber. I contemplate how much it's going to be to rent a car for just that night to get to Cocoa Beach and drop it off there. And I'm like, well, waiting 2 hours is worth less than how much it would have cost me to do either of those things. So I waited. And for some reason, I really wanted to smoke a cigarette.
For some reason.
What?
You said for some reason I really wanted to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, it's
As in, like, I don't know why. Maybe
It's-
it's just because I want to and I like it.
it's not often that happens. It's not very often that I want to smoke a cigarette, but I had thought about it, and I was on vacation. I just wanted to smoke a cigarette, but I didn't have access to one. So I'm walking around doing different things in the airport, trying to waste time. I go to Starbucks and I get a drink, and then I find this massage chair that you could put $5 in to get a 25-minute massage in the airport.
Did that massage chair molest you?
It did not, unfortunately.
No camera popped up right in between the legs.
Listeners are disappointed again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You'll get a good story again one day, I promise. So
She's gonna make
Not
it
today.
one way or the other. It's gonna happen.
all right, so I go outside and I happen to see a woman that's smoking cigarettes and she's talking on her phone. So I walk up and I kind of sit on the bench that's like right next to her bench, and I kind of just wait for her to get off the phone, and I look in my wallet. I find $1 and she gets off the phone, and I said, "Hey, could I give you $1 for a cigarette?" Which I think is a good deal. It's like a 70-cent profit on a cigarette.
Mhm.
And she says,
Easy bread.
no. She says no.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks anyway. She sits there for a couple more minutes, and then she gets up and gets into a cab and leaves, but she dropped her cigarettes.
Ah.
Instant karma.
I got cigarettes of opportunity. So I sat there and I smoked a couple of them. And when it's about time, maybe 10 minutes before Steve-O is going to be there, this crazy drunk lady walks up to me and she's talking to me. And she says, I'm not even drunk, at least 6 times during this conversation. And when I see, Steve-O's text, like he says he's 6 minutes away or whatever, I tell the lady, I'm like, here, have the cigarettes of opportunity. And I walked away.
And then it's paying it forward.
That's right.
I wonder if she might have left those for you because she didn't want you to pay $1 for a cigarette. And then
No, she dropped them.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe she would just leave them behind because she thought she was
It
being
seems
nice or
like-
something.
It seems like smokers code to where it's like most people just, there's, hey, can I have a cigarette? And it almost always everybody just gives a cigarette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're down
Yeah.
to like 1 or 2, then usually you just give it up.
I've only seen one time, and this was my friend from many years ago. This guy named Eric Granholm, who was, imagine he looked like a Viking. Just imagine a Viking, and we were out.
You look like me?
Yeah, he looked like Dave, just a foot taller and a foot wider. And we were out somewhere, and some guy asked him, and he took a long pull on the cigarette and fucking blew the smoke in the guy's face, and he goes, "No, fuck no."
Wow.
Wow.
And then he took another track off his cigarette and we kept walking.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just like, "No, fuck no."
Wow.
Maybe that was this chick's like boyfriend now. Maybe they're together and he taught her how to do that. But she dropped her whole pack of cigarettes with the lighter in it, so it couldn't have worked out better for
Wow.
me. And it wasn't that she was just down to a couple, and that's the reason why she said no. There were at least like 12, 13 in the pack, so she got what was coming to her. But then we get back to, the party central, back to their place, and we go wassailing. And everybody's familiar with wassailing. We've talked about it many times. And I had a lot of alcohol, a lot more than I typically do.
Which is none.
Yeah. I usually don't drink
Which
at all.
is 4 twisted teas.
4 whole solid U.S. twisted teas.
Oh, twisted teas.
Mhm.
I thought you said
US.
Long Island iced teas.
No.
U.S. too.
You're talking about the tall boy.
Yeah.
Malt liquor, motherfuckers.
Yeah, those will definitely.
So that's
fuck
kind of a lot, actually.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. And I drank them, within maybe 2-3 hours or
Yeah,
so,
something like
all
that.
4 of them. And there were some other activities and everybody else. There were some dudes that came down, some dudes that we didn't know that came down and talked with us while we were wassailing. It was a good
It
time.
was
There-
actually, yeah, we finally got some cool people to come and, because I don't think in the past when we've been wassailing, I don't think we've really had any new contenders.
no, we had the one guy that thought that there was a shark attack close to Cocoa Beach, but it was actually like Chesapeake Bay or something.
Yeah.
It was really far away. It was nowhere near.
It was the Bay of Biscay.
So we had these two like young guys from Wisconsin or something.
Yeah.
South
No,
Dakota.
South Dakota. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Minnesota. But like every other word that came out of the mouth was, "Oh fuck yeah, oh fuck yeah." That's what they kept saying. It was
Wow.
they were fun.
Couple of Hoosiers up there.
They ended up taking off, and then Brad took off, and it was just down to us party animals, me and Steve-O. And I'm just with every passing minute, like just losing control of reality and consciousness. And Steve-O's talking, and I'm trying really hard to pay attention to it. And then finally, I'm just like, Steve-O, I'm sorry, but I need to tell you this. I am fucked up.
You know they are when they have to tell you.
I have to apologize first.
It's like the woman at the airport. You had to proclaim it.
Yeah.
Oh no, she said she was.
Yeah, she said she
Yeah.
wasn't.
You admitted.
But,
Yeah.
but 6 not drunks equals 1 I'm drunk.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That is true. So I sit down in a chair, and Steve was like, "Why don't you just get down, on all fours in the sand?" I said, I'm not gonna do that. And then
Thus, you have a camera out. She's not doing it.
so a couple minutes goes by, and I'm like, okay, I am gonna do that. And I got on all fours on the sand. Nothing existed, nothing mattered. I felt so bad, and I was so cold. That's what I remember most, is that I couldn't even lift my head up. I felt so bad, and I was so freezing cold. And now we can hear from your perspective from that point on.
Well, I'm just standing there drinking my beer. I still had like 2 or 3 beers left. I'm ready to go. And finally the vomiting commences. And I just see it, a puddle. She's just staring at this square foot of sand, and eventually it just seemed like she just got it all out, and then she just starts just screaming at the sand.
Wow.
I know what that's like. I know.
Yeah.
What that's
Oh, I think we all do. It's just it's a really on the beach is not where you want that to happen, especially when you're on all fours. So now you're covered in sand, and if you need to wipe your mouth or your eyes, God forbid, you just can't do any of that. And I think she was on all fours for like an hour. Until I was kind of looking. I don't usually pay much attention to the time when we're out there. I try to keep my phone in my pocket, but I start to realize the sky is starting to just barely get a little bit brighter.
The seagulls are flying over her, going, "Come on already! I'm hungry."
It wasn't quite to that point, but it did get me to say, "All right, Becca, we really got to think about heading on.
We
back."
gotta go before those fucking runners get out here.
Yeah, before like normal people start waking up.
out here. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, fuck. All it takes is one person up in their condo. There's several condos around, and they're all 4, 5, 6 floors tall. And anybody just look out to come enjoy the sunrise, and they see Becca. So after much coaxing, got her on her feet, and I think you made it all the way back without incident.
Nope.
Did we stop at
Stopped at the trash can.
the trash can?
Stopped halfway up the overpass thingy, the walkway.
Crossover, yeah.
Stopped there, and then from there, I think I managed to make it to the apartment.
Yeah, luckily we had a nice long break in traffic, so you could slowly limp your way across
Yep.
A1A.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh,
Sounds like what vacations are for.
and it
Yeah.
set,
Great way to start off a vacation.
it set up a great day for me the next day as well, of drinking half a bottle of Pedialyte.
Right?
It was rough, and that was the day that I was supposed to go meet all the realtors
Yeah.
to tell them how responsible I am and how I'm moving down there, and they can trust me with their product. And
We got out to some of them. We did go and enjoy some cheap oysters and some cheap shrimp down at Molly's.
Inexpensive. Don't say cheap. That's
Yeah.
not good.
Fair enough.
it was a fair price.
Yeah, but we stopped at a couple real estate agents, got her name in the database. Basically, they set her up for like a search thing, so that when certain places come available and meet her criteria, then it's going to send her an email. But the last place we stopped was this place that I've driven by a million times, and I never really see much action there. But we were going by there again. I'm like, let's dip in here, let's see if they're open. And so Brad just kind of peeks his head in. He's like, "Are you guys still open?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we're good." I think he even didn't you kind of preface it with?
I preface it like our friend's moving here in about 5 months, but she wanted to kind of talk real quick and see if there's anything she can do to help expedite. That
Yeah,
process.
yeah. She was like, yeah. Come on in. So we all come in and like, yeah, she's Tennessee. Well, we're from Tennessee too, and she's moving down and blah blah blah. And she just starts with it's a little too early to be shopping right now. We're like, oh yeah, no, we understand that, but we've been to some other places and they have like a thing you set up and it'll let her know when stuff comes available. And she just kept saying, well, it's just too, you really want to come back, maybe April, May time frame. And we understand that, but she's here now. And she just kept saying it's too early. And finally, Becca did what I was wanting to do, but it wasn't my show, so I didn't. And then Becca just said, "Okay, thanks," and just turns around and walks out. and then as we're leaving, she's like, "Well, but come back in May or so." And I said, "No, I'm sure we'll find something else by then."
This is what black people experience every day.
Yeah.
You were discriminated against by this woman.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Maybe she was sizing us up.
No, I mean, I'm gonna do what a adult would do in that situation, and just obviously
Right.
not give my business to the person that doesn't want it. I'll go somewhere else that doesn't discriminate for whatever reason. Or it wasn't discrimination. I think it was more of just like she didn't really feel like doing it. She could have done what the other 2 or 3 realtors did for me, which was set me up. Give me your email address, give me your criteria. You will, from now until you move here, you will be receiving emails of any property that comes available with your criteria. But then this lady, it's too early. You don't even, there's no point.
You know why, don't you? She has a condo on the beach, and you woke her up last night going, she said, oh.
No, Dave, it's more like,
That's it. So she saw you. Oh, I can't. I'm not going to trust that.
That sand is not going to fuck with Becca no more. She gave it what for?
I did. I told her who was boss.
Did you cover the puke over?
You
sand?
Brad asked me the same thing.
Yeah, I was curious about that too.
But
What?
Brad, what did you expect me to do at that
The
point?
thing is, I think it'd be funnier to cover it over and then have somebody walk out and then have their foot sink in. Yeah.
No, I was giving the seagulls something to eat.
Seagulls and crabs. They would love it. I mean, you guys are going to eat that stuff later when you get a crab down there.
Yeah.
That's how they feed that cheap seafood.
Yeah, actually, you know what? A few nights later, I got a blue crab quesadilla at the Mexican place.
That was last night.
Was it?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, last night, margaritas and blue crab quesadillas.
That sounds like a Coastal Wolf special right there.
It was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Blue crab quesadilla.
I wonder if exported Cupid 43 likes that kind of stuff.
Who dat?
I don't know.
Somebody who just unsubscribed from the channel.
I started listening to this podcast. Everybody was just throwing
Said,
up.
oh, what's this?
We're talking about throwing up.
Making throw up noises and yelling about eggnog on a table.
Something about mayonnaise mountain.
Does that thing move? No.
Brad, how you doing?
Hi. I'm doing better.
Doing better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Dave saw them, but you guys saw my Snapchats, right? From last week.
Yep.
I did.
Hey, my face grew back. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's making a remarkable recovery.
What did I say?
You're gonna make me open up Snapchat now.
Nah, I'll just pull it up on my phone and give the people who are actually watching this a little trigger warning. My face got fucked up. Let's see. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Brad, what I immediately thought and what I sent to you was Brad was being funny again, and he said a joke to the wrong dude, and that dude fucked him up. That's what I thought.
What I thought was he's touching too many people in the strip club.
Yeah.
They pulled him out and beat him up.
Nah, they're very polite to me at the strip club. I bring in a lot of money.
Well, Brad, what did happen?
So talk to somebody at work that has power to make decisions that are along the lines of, if I ask them, hey, can I come to this big ass EDM party that they only have once a year, well, twice a year, but I didn't know the other one was happening at the time. Hey,
Well,
can I come to that party?
It's once a year. It's just two separate boats within a week. That's all.
Yeah.
For the listeners. It's a thing called Holy Ship, and it's an EDM festival, but they rent out 2 cruise ships and they fill it up with their people.
That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I go there and I'd already decided that night, like, I'm not driving home. I'm just gonna get an Uber. Well, when you go to a party and not know anybody, you go to the people you do know that happen to be working there. So my buddy, who was he was a bouncer for that party, and he told me that if I still needed a ride when I was leaving, to let him know, and he'd give me a ride home. So I'm like, cool, probably gonna take you up on that. And so, I'm drinking, I'm having fun, everybody's super friendly, end up making friends. What would correlate into what Nathan thought was, there was this one weird dude there who was standing I was standing by the bar, and he was just waiting forever. I'm like, do you need a drink? He's like, yeah. And since I work with these people, they know what I sound like. So if I holler their name, they're like, oh, hey, what's up? What do you need?
Yeah.
And the dude's like, dude, that was disrespectful. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you just snapped your fingers to get her over here. I'm like, no, I didn't. Me being a server, snapping your fingers at a server, that is the number one cardinal sin, to get that server to say, fuck you. So I'm like, no, I didn't. And then at one point, the girl's name was Emma. Emma comes back over. I'm like, hey, Emma, was I disrespectful to you a little bit ago or at any point during the night? She was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, had no idea what I was talking about. And I look at the guy again. He's like, man, that's disrespectful. And I'm thinking in my head, like, the girl that you thought was disrespected, that you happened to feel the urge to somehow speak up for, has said, no, everything's cool. What are you talking about? So I eventually do that. All right.
Did he
whatever,
have a man bun?
I don't remember, but I remember saying he had a dope beard. But yeah, I don't recall a man bun. Anyway, I make my way to the other side of the bar. I meet a dude from Cincinnati, super fucking cool. Turns out he had one of the suites on the boat, and he said if I was able to get on the boat somehow, that I could just stay in his suite, and he'd get me liquored up and shit. So, making friends, we're doing shots and shit. We're doing more shots and shit.
Yeah.
It was funny because I'm making friends with this guy, and I see old Mr. Disrespectful over there, and he's just kind of staring me down like, what? I just kind of go, what? And he just walks away, and I'm like, all right, that's a fucking weird dude. Come to find out, that dude bought 12 shots at one point, and he was walking around trying to get people to take the shots, and anybody who was talking to him was like, no.
Wow.
So he was trying to give people free alcohol, and nobody wanted anything to do with him. So I was not alone in my assessment. Like, this guy is an asshole.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's
him.
really sad.
So that was a fun little story that happened. Anyway, had a bunch of shots in me at that point. It's closing time. Everybody has to leave except for me, since my buddy Marshall's giving me a ride home, and I work there, so they know I'm cool. So I'm just sitting on a stool, drunk, drinking water. Everybody finishes up closing. I remember walking out to Marshall's car. Don't remember much of the ride back, but I remember getting out of the car and taking a couple steps, and then all of a sudden my flip-flop blows out, and face, pavement, boom.
Oh.
I've got a
So you hit
rest in peace Apple Watch.
Oh yeah.
See that little stuff on there? That's blood. But yeah,
Wow.
that's smashed.
Yeah, the dude
And,
said that he was after he dropped Brad off, he was rounding the corner. You know where how our shit's laid out, but he was just about to round the corner, and he looks in the mirror and he sees Brad go down. Or I don't know if he saw you go down. Either way, he saw you down on the ground, and luckily he saw him. Otherwise, he very easily could have just passed out right there.
Yeah. And
How does the flip flop go out? I envision like a car tire exploding, like your flip flop just pow, and your foot flies out from under you, and you land.
it's as devastating.
It's
as
a
car
trip.
tire blowout.
It's a trip with a like if you're wearing shoes, you're fine, but you're wearing some shitty shock top flip flops that you got for free, right? Aren't those the ones?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they blow out and then
money on your flip flops. I guess.
you're too
So
drunk.
the part in between the toe comes disconnected, and then the front part curls over. And you've been walking for a while. As soon as you got an unexpected object, you're like, "Whoa!"
And sober, it's you might be able to recover. But
Sober, you can kind of jump and get a hop or two in and regain your balance, but not that drunk. So, anyway, my buddy Marshall helps me up the stairs, passes me off to Steve-O, and I recall he says, "Hey, I'm Marshall. Hate to meet you under these circumstances, but I gotta go."
I'm done with this.
Steve-O throws my ass in the shower, turns on the water, starts spraying me in the face. I come to. I try to stand up, grab that bar soap handle thing that's on the side of every bathtub, pulled it out of the fucking wall.
Wow.
I'm like, all right. I look in the mirror, doing damage assessment, and just start fucking laughing. It's like, man, this is bad.
Yeah.
And
we ended
had
up
Steve-O play doctor for a little while.
Yeah, taped him up with some masking tape we had laying around.
Awesome.
Yeah, we didn't have much in medical supplies.
So you didn't do stitches. You just kind of taped it and as best you could.
We discussed it. We discussed going to the ER, but we also discussed what that might cost.
ER, yeah. Fuck that.
And
yeah,
there was a point that Brad was like, "Dude, can you run to the CVS?" And I'm like, "Dude, I am drunk." And luckily, I had some Neosporin, so we got that in there and taped him up, and he made it through the night, and then we went and got some shit from CVS or from Walgreens the next day.
Got some shit the next day, churched myself up best I could, started doing more reading on the internet of medical conditions, which is always makes you feel positive about everything.
Yeah.
Nah, they were like, no, if you got anything on your face, go to a fucking doctor. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to get infections and stuff. And the next day I go to the doctor and talk to him. And originally they're like, wait, did you black out at any point? Well, there's parts I don't remember. You have to go to the ER. We can't fix you here. You have to go to the ER.
No, I'm not.
I told her, like, honestly, if you guys don't treat me and I have to go to the ER, I'm probably just not going to go at all. Right. And then she's like, well, all right, let me talk to the doctor. And then the doctor agreed to see me, but they were like, you got to get a CT scan. You got to get a CT scan. And I'm like, well, that sounds just as expensive as the ER. And turns out there's places that just do those kind of scans that are not necessarily affiliated with a hospital, so you can do them for cheap.
You just kind of like put quarters in?
You put $150 worth of quarters in. Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot of loads of laundry.
Yeah, it's heavy to bring all those quarters over and push all the things at the same time. But doctor sees me. I was starting to show signs of infection, so she ended up having to cut my toe, and she said, well, I don't want to give you any painkillers or anything because it'll take too long, so I'm just going to cut your toe.
Wait. Cut your toe.
Oh, yeah. Fucked up here, fucked up the side of the face, both shoulders, left knee, left toe.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was a number.
So why did she cut your toe?
It was infected, and she had to drain the pus out.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Good times. Good times.
What happens when you vow to never wear actual shoes ever again and you live in flip-flops?
I think Becca never saw me in flip-flops the entire time I was there.
That's true. It was all tennis shoes.
Did you swear off flip-flops? Or have you?
I don't feel
safe?
Oh.
Yeah, it's like you're in a plane crash and you never expect it to happen. Then you're in a plane crash and you don't like flying anymore.
You got flip-flop PTSD?
A little bit.
You're gonna have to convert to like sandals.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll wear socks too just to be extra sure.
With this, I mean, Brad got home probably 2:33 in the morning, and all of this, getting him in the shower and doctored him up and everything. And by the time we'd actually passed out, the sun was coming up. So naturally we slept through the day. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon before either of us woke up. And, now, we need to run to the Walgreens. Well, I walk out the door and I didn't realize there was still aftermath in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I walk out. Yeah, I walk out and I look down on the ground, and there's both of his flip flops had come off of his feet, and
I should have been dead.
That meme where those pixelated sunglasses slide down onto their eyes, and it says "deal with it."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those were Brad's sunglasses of choice last night. So those were in the in the parking lot too. So you got the 2 blown out flip flops, you got the sunglasses on the ground, and a puddle of blood. It was dried, but it was definitely red. Like, it wasn't like, oh, that could be oil or that could be anything. No, it was red. It was definitely blood. So.
Like he was raptured away.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you should leave the flip flops out there and the sunglasses and put like a chalk line around it, and then just time lapse.
He was
from your porch and watch people come up to it.
And go,
Put up a small cross made out of popsicle sticks and some flowers on it.
Yeah, he was naked, nothing but flip flops and shades. Lord, the trumpets blew. He floated up, hit his head on a tree.
And Brad was the only one that got raptured.
You'd be surprised how it works.
Brad was the only virtuous one.
But I just, as soon as I saw that, I just started imagining all of our neighbors that I see all day, every day, walking their dogs right past there and just being like, "What the hell happened here?" And like just
dogs running over there, licking the blood.
oh yeah,
He was abducted by aliens.
yeah. But it turns out Brad ran into one of our neighbors like the next day, and she was just
After
like,
I got done doing my doctor shit, I was walking back from the parking on the side of the building since I can't park out front because there's no room. And one of our neighbors, who I don't recall ever talking to her, but she was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I told her I got into a bar fight or something. And then she was like, "Well, you all have been really good tenants, so if you ever need anything, just knock on my door." And I'm like, "Thank you. That's real sweet." Because we were worried that the tenants were like, "Oh shit, these guys." But then I remembered we haven't driven a car through our condo yet, so we can't.
Yeah.
The bar is set very high for
the manager.
shenanigans.
Yeah, the manager of the condo has done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, we got one up on him.
Yeah, we still are doing better than the condo manager, so. But yeah, everything's pretty much healed up except for the eyebrow, but it's going to be interesting having a big scar on my face.
Dude, a scar across your eyebrow is the fucking coolest place to have a scar.
That's what I've been trying to
Trust me, man.
Put into my soul that, look, this is where you want it. Like, you don't want it like across your face or right through the middle, like
through the eyebrow.
Final Fantasy VIII guy. You want it fucking right there on the eyebrow.
Then you just need to make up a cool story, like you got in a knife fight.
You got to make up like 5 cool stories because you.
I was thinking of it just like an improv exercise. Just whenever somebody asks me about it, it's just bullshit a story.
Yeah, something new every time.
Yeah.
I got hit by a drone.
My favorite, which I told at a bar when we did karaoke, and we can get into that story too.
Yeah, we
later.
forgot about
Oh, you
that
guys
one.
did karaoke.
Yeah. This older lady, she was from Kentucky. She asked me what happened, and I said I was at Sandbar, and I saw a dude hit his girlfriend in the mouth like hard enough for her to hunch over and do this. And none of the bouncers saw it, and I know how these bouncers love to kick people out, so I snitched on them. The motherfucker got a good look at me, and not too much longer, I had to run out to my car to get my other vape because this one died. And the motherfucker was waiting in the parking lot, jumped me, pushed me down. I got up, kicked out his feet, and started punching the shit out of him. About that time, my other buddy was coming out, and he's like, "Holy shit, what the fuck happened?" I'm like, "Dude, we gotta go. I don't want to talk to you, please. We got out of there."
Dude, that's awesome. I wish I could make up stories that way. It's not in me to do that.
Yeah.
a few weeks
To
ago.
lie like a liar?
Yes, to lie, but just something that doesn't matter. Like a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, me, Brian, Patrick were at a bar, and this, this old guy, he has the Vietnam vet hat on,
Mhm.
and the guy's really drunk, and he comes over and starts talking to us, and then Brian just gestures toward me, and he goes, "Nathan here is home from the Navy for a few weeks."
Wow.
And he's like, he's a real hero. And I'm like, yeah. And the guy's just like, he's like, "Man, I tell you what, you guys saved our asses so many times during the war. You saved our asses. Thank you for your service." And what the fuck can I do at this point? I'm like, I just gone, happy to do it. Happy to do it.
He could have asked you one question like, what unit were you with?
Yeah,
Right.
what ship did you sail on?
Exactly. And he was saying other stuff, and he was saying you guys came in this one time, and we were out here doing this, and I just we're just staying busy. We just stay busy. I just kept saying shit like that. Just and it went fine. He was like, we shook hands. He went away, and thankfully I haven't seen him since.
That's like Brad always tries to get me to bullshit people when they ask me if I work for SpaceX.
I mean, you could fucking do it. That's the difference. I'm not asking. They're not going to ask, "Oh, where do you work?" Just fucking processing.
Yeah.
Dude, just tell him you work in the mailroom.
That's actually no. I think that's been Brad's suggestion. Like if all else fails, tell him that you
got an intern. You got an internship. You're not really allowed to talk about it, but you run the simulation.
It's like shipping and
That's all you
receiving
got to
or something.
fucking say.
Yeah.
I iron Elon's t-shirts.
There you
That's
go.
all I do.
I'm Elon's personal shopper.
Yeah.
He wants a Snickers. I go
I
get it.
get anime. I get Elon his anime to make him happy.
And he likes tangerines. I don't know.
Well,
And
Becca.
ask him what kind of anime does he like. Dragon Ball Z.
No, bad choice. Can't go with Dragon Ball Z.
Becca has a new producer now.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to know his name?
You want to talk about it?
All right.
You did karaoke and then somebody cried.
No,
like
I
Todd
was-
did the one time.
It was basically it was basically that scenario, except this dude didn't cry. So I have been trying to get those two to go to karaoke for a long time, and it's always just it just never is the right time. It's never they don't really feel it. They don't want to do it. And on, I guess it was Monday night, we got done. Where were
Tuesday
we?
night. Or-
We went to some shitty bar, and then we went to Rising Tide, which was a much better bar.
No, this was the night that we went to the Irish place, Irish pub.
and then to no, that's right.
We weren't having a great time, but when
did you get that shepherd's pie?
no, we didn't.
Not that place. No, we didn't go to
A shitty bar, a shitty pub, not a good pub.
We also have the escape game to talk about, but we.
Oh yeah, we'll come back to that.
So we left the Irish bar because none of us were having a good time there. We're all in the car and we're all singing a song. And I was like, "Why are you guys singing right now?" And you say you don't want to go to the karaoke. Like you're warming up your vocal cords. You're doing great. Everybody sounds great. Let's just go do it. And Steve, I was like, "All right." So we pull into this bar and it's called
The
Lamppost.
Yep.
Yeah, lamppost.
And you get to choose a side when you walk in. You get to go in this door or this door. This door over here is just like a bar, and this door over here is where the karaoke happens.
Pool bar on one side or karaoke on the other.
Yeah, the one side is like I've only ever delivered pizza into there, but it's like a poorly lit classroom. Like it's like a classroom where half of the ceiling lights are out. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of bare. It's just kind of shitty tile floor and like a pool table or two and actually I always thought that was the side that the karaoke happened on, so I was like, I don't really like the vibe of that side.
So are these completely separated?
Well, there's one central door
you walk
and
through
then
the hallway.
and then you go left or right down the hallway, but it is the same bar.
It's the same
It's
room. It's a
odd.
big room.
No, they're separate.
No, it's
They're separate rooms for sure. Yeah.
There's something.
Completely
in the middle.
separate rooms. There's
Yep.
not like just a divider.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
almost like there's a room in between them.
Like a little foyer in between them. Yeah.
You went to the karaoke side.
Went to the karaoke side,
Which
we
is
get our-
dark. It's like a lounge feel. You know, they've got slotted mirrors on both sides, so all the little lights that they have hung up, little Christmas lights kind of shit, is like repeated, and it makes the room look really big and really sparkly and shit. It's fucking loungy. It's awesome.
It's dreamy. Yeah.
So there's like 10 people in there, and there's probably 3 or 4 singers at the time in the karaoke,
Including the guy running it.
one of those being the DJ.
It's always like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, we're discussing it, and Steve was like, go ahead, put me up in there, put me in there. And I said, what song do you want? He's like, Higher, Creed, duh.
Obviously.
And I'm like, all right, Brad, what do you want? He tells me his song, so I go.
Wait,
up.
what's Brad's song?
Brad's song was "Break On Through" by The Doors,
Okay. All right.
and Brad did a fantastic job
Mhm.
with that song.
Yep. I
So
think it's the first time I've seen Brad do karaoke. Maybe
it was my first time
I
for
think
sure.
it's the first time I've seen you do karaoke, so that.
Now
that's
I've
right.
got to see this. I feel left out. I've seen you. I've seen Steve. I haven't seen Brad.
Well, they'll be up here in a couple months. We'll take them out to do some karaoke.
They are what?
Yeah, for Joe Call's wedding.
around the May the 4th.
May the 4th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
May the 4th. That's
Yes.
what-
yep,
oh,
that's it.
Okay.
that's the wedding day.
Precisely.
Correlation has
Congratulations.
been made. So I go up and I talk to the DJ. I tell him what song I want and tell him those two. And I go up there and I sing my song. And, there's the standard like, hey, good job. Hey, buddy, that was great. Yeah, good job. They go up there and do their songs. And then I went up and asked the DJ if he did duets with anybody. He said, yeah. And I said, do you know Cruisin'? Huey Lewis and Gwyneth Paltrow. He was like, yeah, of course. I said, awesome. No one will ever sing that song with me. And so he said, I'll put you in for it next. I go up there on my next turn. I'm singing it with him. And he does not sing the harmony at all throughout the whole song, which is like the reason you sing it is so that
Usually the karaoke guys are good.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and he did sing well. I expected him to know the
Yeah.
guy part, the duet part. And so I come down off stage and I'm sitting at my spot at the bar, and this guy walks up to me and he's like, hey, you got a voice that needs to be heard.
Can you describe this person?
Yeah, yeah,
physically
yeah.
Speaking.
Well, first of all, he's wearing sunglasses in a very dark bar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sunglasses. He's got a little bit of bling. He's got an oversized, like FUBU-ish t-shirt thing. Kind of looks like a soccer jersey-ish.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
He tells me
Wait, what else is? How does he look?
let me just tell you what he had to say.
Okay.
His name is School J the Jeweler.
Come again?
My name is School J the Jeweler, and you have got to be heard, is what he said to me.
School J, the jeweler.
School J the Jeweler. He
Yeah.
tells me I can look him up on YouTube. He's got 40 songs or so. I have
Steve,
since,
find one of those songs. Find one of those songs, Steve.
you might have better luck than
Find
I
a song.
did, but I couldn't find any of them.
Shit.
Yeah.
So he
Because
tells
they don't exist.
he's got 40 songs on YouTube.
Put hashtag no harmony.
That was
That's
the
that's a different guy.
Oh,
not
Not
School
School
J.
J.
oh my bad.
DJ,
Yeah,
not
I'm
School
not
J.
following School J.
Not School J.
So he sits there and talks to me for a while, and he asked me for my number. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even
Uh-huh.
from here. And he's like, that's even better. Where are you from? And I said, Tennessee. And he said, I'm up in Memphis all the time. And I said, well, I'm nowhere near
Yeah,
Memphis.
that's really far away.
And he's
So
like, but I
sorry.
go through Tennessee. You need to be heard. You have got to be heard. I want to be your producer. And I was like, yeah, how about this? How
He's
about
like, you use my dick as a microphone.
He's like, how about this? I said, how about you let me sing one more song and then come talk to me after that? And he's like, all right. And so I did Whitney
Did you do
Houston.
intentionally shitty job?
No, I did. I did
I
not
was
do
hoping
that.
you would.
I don't have it in me to do that. I could not
He's a
do that.
professional.
That takes a lot more guts to purposely sing bad than to get
Yeah.
up there in the first place.
It
I'm
does.
wondering if I'm wondering if he's got some kind of weird spelling. Like
I tried
I
every.
was thinking S apostrophe cool. Like school J. I tried it. It didn't work.
I tried a lot of different
So
stylings.
you sang the Whitney Houston song that did make Todd cry and make him want to be your producer.
No, the
No.
song that made Todd
I thought that was
cry
Whitney Houston.
and make me want to be a producer, believe it or not, was White Rabbit by Jefferson
I
Airplane.
thought it was Whitney Houston.
It was White Rabbit, and he literally was in tears, standing up, holding his hat over his heart, and he said the only problem with that was that it wasn't longer. He said you need to go up there and sing All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix because it's a long song and you can sing a lot longer on stage. Todd was really enraptured by this.
Yeah.
So I go up and I sing Whitney Houston, and of course it's a hit.
Of course.
As is tradition.
Of course.
And he comes back up to me and he's like, "Hey, hey, come on. Give me your
You
number.
could be a star.
Give me your number. We'll get you in the studio. You need to be heard." And so I said, all right, School J. So he hands me his phone, and I start to type my number in, and I change the last digit of the number. And then his uncle shows up, and his uncle comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "you need to listen to School J, man. He got songs all over YouTube. He got songs on
game.
Facebook.
Yeah.
He's gonna take them down and make them better, fix them up, and change them, and then put them back up.
Oh,
It's a work
okay.
in progress." And so later on that night, I was telling them how I gave him the wrong number, and they were like, "You should text the number that you gave him." I said, "You're right." So I texted the number,
You
and
have
I
it?
said, "You may be receiving a text message from School J the jeweler. I wasn't thinking about your feelings in this. And I'm sorry, but if you want to be a star, here's your chance." And they did not respond.
That's awesome.
That's- I mean, it's courteous. You did the right thing.
So that was that. Oh, and then we went to a music, like a dinner show at Disney World on Wednesday night. And they were singing all these nice songs. It was funny. It was kind of, Davy Crockett, Southern. There were funny people and there were serious people. And Steve-O was watching this chick sing a song, and he looked over at me and he goes, "You could do this. Those songs aren't hard." I said,
Those songs aren't hard.
"Those songs aren't hard.
No.
You could do this.
Totally do it.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. School J.
Even you could do that."
That's how you're meant to take it. Even you could do this. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Even Becca could do this.
Waste our time.
I mean,
You can sing.
the all you can eat fried chicken and ribs and all you can drink beer is great, but fucking if Becca can do it, I'm out.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But what I failed to mention was that these two are the real karaoke stars. It was
Not
great.
us.
It was a great time. They
Did-
did. I'm pretty pissed off.
Did School J talk to them?
I'm
Did he
pissed-
want
no.
their number?
Yeah, he didn't want any of our
Did he
dick.
want their number?
Do you know what School J did? He talked to me during their last two songs.
Mhm.
I was so pissed. I wanted to pay attention to them, and he would not leave me alone. I was very upset about that.
Well, Becca, you've learned you have the power to just say, fuck off.
Brad sang "Ain't That a Kick in the Head," and I really wanted to hear that, and this dude would not stop talking to me. And I don't even know, Steve-O, what was your last song?
I don't know. Was it
Probably some more Creed bullshit.
No.
Wasn't it a Disney song?
Yes,
No,
yes.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can you
Okay.
feel the love tonight? That's right.
Yep.
That woman, when I was singing Creed, this lady that was at the bar, she pulled her stool over and just sat in front of the stage and was just like just doing like this, and she kept like calling me over, towards her and stuff, and she was like begging me to sing more Creed, and and I was like, well, I think when she was begging me to sing more Creed, it was like as we were on the way out the door. And she's like, "You need to sing Arms Wide Open. I just love that song. It just speaks to me." What's one thing that always goes through my head when I'm doing this, and I try to read the room to determine just how over the top making fun of Scott Stapp I'm gonna do it, because it's one dream and how much of that am I gonna do? Because are these people Creed fans or do they get the joke? you
Right.
know, obviously I do it because it's in my range, but but it's making, it's like that's what first got me on stage with that song the first time was like, oh, I'll go up there and I'll just like make fun of the way he sings and it'll be a smash hit. And I'm always worried, should I go over the top or should I kind of, keep it kind of truncated, and then turns out this woman, she just adores Creed and she just wants me to sing Arms Wide Open for her.
Steve-O, you get your dick wet?
No. I'm not
Damn sure could have.
I'm not sure I could have got it wet in that old pussy.
But everybody else in the bar, all the dudes between the ages of like 29 and 47 were all singing along with you.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but they weren't like, it wasn't like they were, into it. They were just like looking into their beers and singing,
Oh my God.
mouthing the words along with you.
Right.
Me.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was
It's
a
the
good
most
time.
depressing scene I have ever imagined.
No, it was a great time.
It's like the death of Cheers.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Oh, and Becca got to see some titties that night. It's not even a titty bar.
Yep. I guess I'll
Oh, you didn't go.
No, the bar
No.
at the lamppost, she was like, "It's Titty Tuesday." I said, "What does that mean?" And she just goes, "Here," and takes her shirt off, and she showed them to me.
And I had told you, I think beforehand, like there's this bartender here that every time I deliver pizza to her, and all the other drivers, it ain't just me, but part of your tip is she's gonna flash you.
Yeah.
So was this the one that was in the Creed?
No,
This is
No, not particularly. Not
the
that I
same,
can tell.
no.
they seemed like they were about the same person, though.
Yeah,
Just one had nicer titties.
yeah.
Well, we don't know about the other one's
Well,
titties.
we don't. Yeah.
Steve, when that lady was watching you, you could have just interjected at any point you could. Let me see those sloppers.
Let me see them natty hangers.
Fueled by Natty.
This is Naughty by Natty. Steve, what was your second song?
It
Wait,
was
is it Disney?
no.
No,
it
your
was,
third was a Disney.
Friends in Low Places.
Yep,
All right.
that's what it was. And we all got to sing Bohemian Rhapsody on stage with a really drunk girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely hard the microphone. I was team captain number 2 with the microphone, and I held it directly in place for everyone around me to be able to use it. But that chick held it right in front of her mouth.
She did kind of point it around a little bit, like she'd put it
Towards the end, when she figured out she was being a mic hog.
Yeah, she'd like put it in a random person's face and then bring it back to her face.
You can't take singing that song too seriously.
No,
I can't.
absolutely not.
I absolutely can.
Well, it's always the really drunk people that want to sing it, like not knowing how. Like it's actually a difficult song to do well. You know?
Yeah, that's like the big.
Oh, we killed it because we were still sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was classically trained on that song.
To rock your fucking socks off.
I know every part. I can sing them.
Well, we got to do that karaoke again
Yeah.
sometime. That sounds great.
Yeah.
We'll
Take
do it when we're up there.
when they come down.
Bull feathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give them a taste of that weirdo.
I
that,
sent them some good. Yeah, you've got some good Snapchats from Bull Feathers.
Yeah,
I've seen
Bull
some good
Feathers. That's the place where I ran off with a pitcher of beer because they called last call, so I ordered a pitcher, and then right after I got my pitcher, they're like, "All right, everybody's got to go." So
And you just took it with you.
I was outside in the smoking section. I threw my leg up over the railing and hopped over into the parking lot and got in the car and went home. And I was not driving.
The good old days.
I was not driving. Yeah, that was living in the band house days.
this is a
Very
fun
nice.
party episode. Just telling all these
Yeah, I
fun
don't even want to talk about Gillette.
stories.
Just
Yeah.
fuck Gillette. Go with Dollar Shave Club, fellas. Just do that. I've
Yeah.
signed up.
I
Dollar
can
Shave
still
Club.
go with Gillette. They haven't said shit about me yet.
Nor will they.
No.
Do you want your men to be weak pussies?
We
that what
clean
you-
shaven pussies.
I think there is
Is
something
that what
to
you're
be
looking
said for the kids are watching. I think there is something to be said for that. For like the kids are watching who you are today, and that's who they're going to become. I think there is something to be said for that, but I don't necessarily think that it's. And we discussed this a little bit when I was down there. It's not necessarily Gillette's place to be calling out every dude for being a piece of shit. And
Okay.
I understand. We are going to talk about this, aren't
I
we?
guess we
Like,
are.
this is what
Well,
we're
did you
getting
see?
into.
But the thing is, what they were actually showing was, okay, they showed.
It was like everyday scenes.
It was like nothing.
They showed a line of dads at a barbecue shaking their heads, going,
And two
"No."
kids wrestling, and
Boys
then
will be
being like,
boys.
okay, it's like feminists think that when you say boys will be boys, it's like that's guys talking about rape. Like we're just all excuse rape and sexual assault all the time. It's just like, oh, well, boys will be boys. You know, no, that is not the case at all.
Yeah, and it's a definite minority. The guys that are like the target guys for that ad is a minority. Like most guys are not like that.
Feminists. They're like white knight male feminists that are thirsty for some feminist pussy, but they'll never get it because the women.
No, I mean like the people that they're criticizing, the guys that they're criticizing. It's a very small portion of the male population. You know, most guys are not that.
But this is what I'm saying. Their criticisms weren't even valid. Yeah. Like there's a scene where a woman's walking down the street and her shirt's cut off or whatever, and she's walking by, and a guy just turns like he's gonna go talk to her.
Yeah, a guy just goes to holler at a girl
out of the building, going, "Whoa, dude, whoa!"
Yeah,
talk to the girl.
How dare you?
You don't want to talk to a hot girl. You know what that makes you look like?
How is that bad behavior?
Right. I don't get that either.
Since when can't a man approach a woman and talk to her? Is it not? Do not women have agency? Can't a woman say, "Hey, yeah, I want to talk to you," or "I don't want to talk to you"? Sometimes. They're literally saying like, "Dudes, don't let other dudes talk to women. Don't let them approach women in any way, even in the most fucking innocent." Hey, how you doing? Kind of.
Hey, do you know what time it is? Oh, this guy's going to. I see him right here, officer. He tried to sexually assault that girl. No, I just wanted to know the time. No, I saw you.
You approached this woman.
It could have been portrayed better, but there are. I mean, I think the point that they may have been trying to make that they completely missed was she was just walking by. Mm-hmm. She didn't necessarily want to be approached. Okay, that happens all the time. If you're on your way to work or you're walking somewhere and you're in bad mood, you don't feel like being approached, whatever. That I think that the point they're trying to make is that it's not your right to just approach a woman at any time you want to.
No, but public though.
It's public. You have any right to, and if she doesn't want it, then she can say go away.
And I think that a vast majority of guys can easily be blown off.
Yeah, and it is very situational. And as you were saying, the target audience for that commercial are not going to be reached by that commercial. The people that they're actually calling out in that commercial, that isn't going to do nothing
for them.
Don't
even really exist, the people they're calling out.
It does. I mean, it exists, but it's such a minority. You know, I mean, there are douchebag guys.
It may not be us. I mean, I just think it's just overgeneralized. Actually, I was offended by that. It made me get up, go down to the other side of the house, look at my razor box to see if my generic ass razors in some way, shape, or form were made at Gillette, which I couldn't really tell because I was going to go, nah, I'm not. There's so many different kinds of razors out there.
You've already paid for those ones. Why not use them and just don't?
Well, I would.
Anymore?
Well, I would, but I still don't. I mean, they're my special generic ones. So
we're just going down a dark path where now it's becoming more and more normal and acceptable for companies selling products to inject some philosophy, and it's not really anybody's philosophy at the corporation. It's they're trying to monetize our
virtue signaling.
Well, let's keep in mind
they're trying to monetize virtue signaling.
Companies have a role, and they teach the classes in a university all the time. We be back when I went, but they have, a lot of people say they have a social responsibility, and you guys can flip this over and talk about, you could put this on the environment, and they have a duty to not mess up the environment, and maybe some people think that they have a social responsibility and they're trying to fill it. Doesn't necessarily mean they're all social justice. We don't want to overgeneralize Gillette either, but for me, it still makes me mad. I still think it's over.
Did anybody get mad in the early 2000s when Venus came out? Gillette's Venus razors for women came out, and they were using that Venus song by whoever sang that. The "I'm Your Venus, I'm Your Fire, Desire." And it's just, get touchable, smooth legs. You'll be more attractive. You'll be more, touchable, showing like just women with golden, shiny legs, just touching their legs. Nobody gets mad about that, but that's
There's
generalizing.
one worse than
things.
that.
Yeah, it's.
There's one where they're trimming a tree in front of their business parts, but I don't remember the name, brand, or what now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where it's like the thing where you can shape your pussy hair. It's like what they show in the commercial.
Yeah, it's three ladies all standing there, and the plant is right in there. It's almost like they're doing topiary on the plant.
Yep.
That, don't you think that's worse?
Yeah, and that's the thing, that it wasn't controversial.
Why? And I don't think it should be. They're saying if you want touchable, smooth legs, just like if Colgate says, do you want healthy teeth and fresh breath? If you do, then our product is here for you.
But what I'm saying is it's targeted, and it doesn't make anybody mad unless they feel they're being called out.
But that wasn't right. It wasn't a political statement. They weren't saying that all women should have. I mean, in their mind, because they want to make money, they want every woman to buy their razors, obviously. But it's not saying that. It's not making a should statement. Like, this is how you should be.
Listen,
here's the go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, I'm not arguing for it or against it. I don't really. I mean, it doesn't affect me. It's not something, I'm not being called out for it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't. I see where they could have done things better in that commercial. I see the concept they were going for. They were using a play on their slogan. The best a man can get. Is this the best a man can get? Because of some things that some men have done. And it is kind of shitty for them to do what they did. But honestly, I think they're following what has been going on for the past couple of years in the media, where one thing happens and it is talked about endlessly, and they're getting endless publicity for it.
You guys seen that? Did you see the American Psychological, or I think it was Psychological Association just put out a thing basically giving protocols for masculinity, for how to deal with boys and men, and basically categorizing masculine behaviors as a mental health issue.
Ooh, I have heard about that.
This is the point. The point is, like, masculinity is now being called something that is inherently wrong, and it is not that it is part of the human species, that it is,
every species.
Boys will be boys, like, right? Well, yeah, but specifically talking about humans, boys will be boys, as in boys have aggression, and they grow up and they learn boundaries, and they learn how to deal in social hierarchies by wrestling, and they just do that.
Yeah,
every boy does that at some point, and nobody gets. Very rarely do your feelings get hurt about that. You wrestle, and then you go on, and and then it's fine. You don't turn into a real vicious fight.
Right.
Now masculinity is being called toxic wherever you go. It's just toxic, and it's not even being defined in a certain way. It's just all masculinity is toxic, and then what they describe as not being toxic is just being feminine. It's like, if you want to be a real man, you should really show your emotions. You should. And they start listing all these feminine things and saying that's how men should be. And it's just fucking young guys up, because it's not how they should be. It's not what women want. Women don't want limp-wristed pussies. They don't.
Yeah.
It does.
He's right.
Some do. There's a person
some
for every.
do, and we shouldn't. Gillette shouldn't be telling us.
We're not shaming.
Generally speaking, women do not want lip-wristed pussies, and even if they say they do, once you get down to it, and they start ordering their man around, they're not going to respect that man.
Nice guys finish last.
Him, and then they're going to go start cheating with the fucking dude that's working out over here that fucks her brains out and doesn't give a shit. Like, that's what's going to happen. And then she's going to look at him like the loser he is. But, well, he's nice and stuff, but he doesn't.
What side of the fence you want to be on,
what
boys?
she really wants. These are the things, like, these people, they deny human biology rather than looking at it and working with it and saying, what are the good aspects and the negative aspects? How do we work within those things, magnify the good parts and, minimize the bad parts? But no, let's just completely deny all of it, call all of it a social construct, and just say men should act more like women. The future is feminine. Yeah. Just everything's feminine now.
Well, I can say personally that it kind of goes both ways in that sense. What are girls being taught now? What are young girls being taught? How are they being taught to act?
Shame the patriarchy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're being taught to be more.
Men don't want that. Men do not want manly women. Yeah. Here I am, a kid that wasn't necessarily brought up in that same generation, but sometimes I burp and I'm looked at like I'm disgusting.
Sometimes I fart and I look at
that's not a way for ladies to act. But here I am, and I'm doing just fine. It's going both ways. How can anything we do? How can we change this? How can anything change this? This is the direction that society is going, saying that babies should not be given a gender until they can decide for themselves. Would you trust an 11-year-old to decide if they wanted to get married? Would you trust a 7-year-old to decide if they wanted to join the military? Would you trust any kid of any age to make any fucking decisions about their life? But you're telling me a 3-year-old should be able to decide their gender? When they come of age at 3 years old, they should be able to decide what they feel like? Things suck. Yeah. And things have always sucked. They just haven't sucked this much. And it's going in a terrible direction. But we are all people that we all have problems. We all have issues. Everybody does. Yeah. Everybody's fucked up. We were all different times. Everybody was raised in different times. Everybody faced different problems when they were kids. I didn't have the same issues that other girls had when I was a kid because I didn't have friends. I didn't, it's everybody is faced with different life choices and different realities. But this is the way that things are going. And what can we do? What do we do?
What we do is, to me, is speak out about more traditional views of traditional values. It doesn't mean we had to, start fucking believing in Noah's Ark, but I mean,
just be how you're compelled to be, minus being an asshole.
I'd be safer if there was a wall.
Thank you, Dave. Glad somebody else on this podcast will say it.
I'd feel like more of a man if there was a wall.
I mean, there's a band that made a whole album about it.
They didn't shut down the government.
Oh, Trump should have used that. He might have. He might have used that, and I might have heard he used that in one of his speeches, and then Pink Floyd got pissed about it. Yeah. It's what's his name is super leftist.
And then he did something like called them un-American, and then someone was like, "Yeah, they're not American.
Not a one of them.
That's un-American."
Limeys.
Hey, I wanted to. I'm hoping one of y'all knows how much money does Trump need for this wall?
$5 billion.
For 5.6 billion.
We'll say 5.6.
That seems like such a small amount of money to have the government shut. I'm getting more pissed, as everyone else is too. But I was listening to the Space Policy edition of the Planetary Radio podcast, and they were going over the effects that it's having on our government scientists. Not just NASA, although NASA is severely impacted. But there's a lot of people that aren't able to work and go through data. Some data is still coming in, but there's certain experiments or trials or something that were on the books to take place, like maybe observations, like telescopic observations, of stars or something, some kind of experiment that was supposed to be run, but in celestial mechanics, things don't stop and opportunities are missed because of this shutdown, because they're not allowed to work. And they, there's interviews missed and meetings missed and things that just can't happen again. And not to mention the people that aren't getting paid. And now I do understand, I've, seen just a little bit of the discourse, and, some people will say, well, they're government employees, so they're paid well. I imagine they probably have some form of a cushion, but not all of them. There
Government
are a lot of
employees are not paid well.
Let me put the spending in perspective, though. The 5.6 billion, and you'd have to look this up to verify and correct because I'm just going off memory. But Congress signed off. I don't know if it was this time or the last time. They signed off on like 8 billion of foreign aid for like one South American country. It was like Venezuela, like, or something like that. It was just like just to give it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yet somehow this 5.6 billion is just an insurmountable waste of money,
right.
and we just can't allow it to happen.
Yeah, and another thing that it is kind of annoying to, I guess, being a logical person, I hate to see both sides are just pointing at the other side when I think that it's all of those assholes up there that are making this continue. Like, there is a method in place for Congress to end the shutdown if they want to. They can do it, and they can even do it if they have enough of a majority. Then Trump can't even veto it, right? Like, if they wanted to, they could open the.
No, he has to sign it. So I don't know if there's some kind of
override
super
the veto.
majority.
Well, they can override the vetoes.
Even if it's a super majority, if it's
It's 60-something%.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, all Trump has been saying is, let's deal on it. And they won't even. The thing is, they don't want to deal.
But then at the same time, he gives like the videos I've seen of debating, like in the Oval Office and stuff. It's not a debate. It's a temper tantrum on his part.
What happened was when they were talking the one time was he said, like, so if I sign this and open the government back up, will you fund the wall? And Nancy Pelosi said, no, we won't. And he said, okay, bye. And he just got up and left because she already said, absolutely not. Like, she just turned him out at the very beginning of the discussion. There was no discussion of, well, here's what we could do or here's what we couldn't do. That's the thing. He keeps saying, that's the thing. He's sitting in the White House saying, I just want to do something. And the thing is, he's not a fucking radical on this. He's like, his whole thing is like, let's make a deal on it. And they won't talk to him because any kind of deal that happens will mean that Trump gets something. And if Trump gets something, that means Hitler wins. And we can't have Hitler winning anything at all. We're not allowed to, we can't do that because he's already won way too much. He's already been too successful and we can't stand it. So I don't know how that's gonna end up ending. Somebody's gonna cave at some point.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, or they're all gonna lose their jobs. Which, I mean, at this point, like, if I had to vote right now, I mean, I'm not sure I would ever try to reelect Trump, but I definitely wouldn't vote for him, and I would vote against anybody that's in power blocking this. You know, it's unreasonable. We've now set a record. We have completely abolished the original record of how long a government shutdown has gone on, and it is ridiculous. Like, when it first started, I was like, this will go on for maybe a week at most. Like, it has the past fucking 10 years or whatever.
Anybody know why? What the 70 years before the government was shut down, since the very first time that they tried to negotiate through government through a shutdown. It was Garfield, Andrew Johnson, and it was the longest time before this time, and it was an overwhelming failure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just no way to govern.
Now,
I mean,
it's becoming an annual ritual.
Here all day long about who did what and whether what's wall or what. We've all sent them there. McConnell won't send a bill. Pelosi's being petty. I mean, you are elected to work. You are elected to serve the people. And what you are doing right now, I don't give a damn what party you are. There are a husband and wife TSA team. There are all kinds of federal folk who aren't getting paid. What about all the contractors? You guys know these people that have government contracts, they may not ever get paid.
Right.
And they still have to work. So, I mean, again, and the latest bullshit tonight, the Trump send in Pelosi and what's his name, the fake bricks. I mean, come on, that's bullshit.
He did what?
He sent them faux bricks.
Oh,
little
that's funny.
foam bricks.
No,
it's
that's
not funny.
Yeah,
but
it's funny.
No, this
It's
is
politics.
It's
Listen.
not conducive to.
listen, man. It's
on.
not funny.
Come on, man.
It's
Come on,
not
man.
funny. And
Yeah.
and you know, I'm already in a foul mood, so I probably ought not go down this. But people are getting food stamps
Yeah.
while he's sending faux bricks, and we're applauding
He is
that.
no. The point is him putting political pressure on her to say, "Hey, let's fucking do something." This is what people are saying is he would deal if they were willing to deal at all. The thing is they won't deal at all. They don't
If
want him to
McConnell would
get
just
anything.
do something too. I mean, you can say it's him. It's
Then
oh,
do
it's
it.
him,
Then
and
do it. Then,
but they're
then
not doing
fucking
it.
him do it too. Like
Yeah.
fuck him. Do your shit, McConnell. Whoever. All of you do something.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what
do
I'm saying
something.
too. Do something.
And it does. I mean, and you know that to me, you know, he and to that point, he didn't send McConnell faux bricks. He didn't send anybody. He just sent them to the opposing party
is
to get them to do
Is
something.
McConnell blocking? I don't know. See, I don't know anything about McConnell in this situation, but is he
McConnell-
blocking the process at all?
Yeah, McConnell will not put any vote in the Senate up if the president's not going to sign it.
Well, then because there's no point to.
But
That's
I think
my point. I mean,
You don't. But if he already says he's not going to sign it, then why would you put up for a vote?
But-
That's all that is.
but you know that's
That's-
not wasting people's time. But when you're in a situation like this, try to do something. I mean, we just got through saying don't do something, and now you're saying it's okay to not.
No,
do
but
something?
no, I'm saying that if Trump already says he's not going to sign it, why would you put forward a bill that he's not going to sign?
Because-
the point is to talk to him and work out something that he will sign. You could get something on your side that he would agree with, that he would sign, but there's no point in just throwing up something and saying sign it. He's going to say no, I'm not. And
If Congress
and then you're back
talks,
to where you're at.
right? But if Congress talks enough, it eliminates the point about his veto. So no matter what, because I mean, he can
Yeah.
veto, but they can get together, and if they've talked enough and they've come to an agreement, he can write veto all day
They
long.
could, but it's not going to happen. The votes aren't there for that. He
That's
could.
true.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if they started talking, they would get to that point. Maybe he could stomp his feet, but they go, listen, we got to do something here. Well, then I won't win. I mean, I'm not one way or the other. I'm just going, there are families that aren't eating. There are people that live paycheck to paycheck that this has nothing to do with.
Yep.
You can say it has something to do with them, but I'm telling you right now, I mean,
the
this
people
wall-
controlling this aren't the ones that are suffering for it.
there isn't a single person in this country that is one wall away from safety. There isn't a person in this country that is a wall away from absolute safety.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to fix it. It'll fix parts of it. It'll alleviate some things, but it's not going to make you that much safer. I mean, it is what it is.
You heard stories from these ranchers on the border, the shit that happens to them. I don't even to like that is a thing. Though.
I've listened to interviews from ranchers that have been on both sides of that
Yeah.
situation.
I'm saying that is a thing. I get what you're saying.
It is
I
a
get
thing,
what you're saying.
but these are still the same ranchers. You know, you can say, "Oh, they're coming across my property." Well, what about that rancher that they interviewed that said, "Why do you think you have a right to put a wall on my land?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
My cattle want to graze here, and they want to graze
wait
there."
a minute. His cattle are going to Mexico.
Yeah,
That seems there's some got to be something.
that's
wrong with
right.
No,
Because the
they're-
grass is always greener on the other side of the wall.
It's not all on the other side because there's
I mean,
there's
you
a
know,
lot
I
of
mean,
eminent domain happening with this.
You got eminent domain.
that.
These
We have
people-
illegal cattle. We have crossing borders. I don't know
That's
about
right.
this.
You got Kobe beef.
What is
Wagyu
in,
beef?
what is in my carnitas right now? I don't know about this day.
You got a bilingual cow with 10 stomachs.
Well, to start, carnitas is pork, so you don't have to.
I mean,
This is America, and you can put whatever meat you want in there.
It's the other white meat.
what's in my carnitas? Is beef? That's not right. It's pork. It's supposed to be pork.
It's cat.
All right, we should never have talked about any of that.
No,
What?
that's good. That's
That's
good.
fine.
I think
I mean, she got to write because she was so
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, just hating all of it.
Why were you uncomfortable?
That's the name of the poem,
We have-
Uncomfortable.
I mean, we have a vibrant intellectual discussion.
Quit looking at my poem.
Intellectuals is for us is generous, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Why
Yeah, we think we know what we're talking about.
There's about to be another intellectual argument. Why do you keep sneaking glances at my poem? You are not supposed to see
I
this.
have to know what's happening. I'm not trying to read your poem.
All right.
You're just moving around in front of me, and that's what's there.
Your
And-
poem paranoia.
Yeah,
Intellectual
maybe you should change your
Problematic.
title to.
debate. We haven't even talked about Mayonnaise Mountain.
It needs to be talked
It
about.
has been mentioned.
If there's anything that's going to keep us safe, we are.
I found Mayonnaise Mountain.
That's how it starts, not how it ends.
Okay, speaking of poems, since we're here,
Hold on.
Does this even work anymore? Yes, it does.
Pour more eggnog on it.
yeah, I didn't have
See
too
if he
much
gargles.
spilled on it.
Just take a big whiff of that right now. Just
Okay.
open it up and take a whiff.
No, don't.
Yeah.
No, don't.
It's gonna go. Oh, it's ejecting the smell into the room.
Nothing.
It smells like this eggnog.
Nah.
Okay.
Well, that's
It's hoping it
disappointing.
smell like death.
Maybe the alcohol kind of keeps it from being too nasty.
Add some more eggs and milk.
Yeah.
Shake it up. Bring it back.
Becca,
Whoa, that's a hum of non-confidence.
No, that was not. Absolutely not. All right. If you guys think you're ready, this one is called
We are never ready. It's too intense.
Male Children.
how's that spelled?
M-A-I-L.
Okay.
Male children.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna.
It's important that you know that.
Yeah.
Very important to the poem.
Mhm.
You just snapped your fingers. It's still raw, and I'm only paying attention to the time now. I make my way to damage assessment, talk myself into feeling positive. Observations, trials, experiments. Going off of memory will have to work. The sun is coming up, but the other side is always dark.
Did we really say those words?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Everyone.
I said a lot of words in there.
Yeah, the only one is the one about the sun. I don't feel like
The sun is coming up in a couple times today because
Yeah.
once when she was puking, and then once when Brad was getting finished fixed up, the sun was coming up.
I challenge you. If you would like, you can have this. You can go back and listen to
That
this
is a lot
episode,
of
and you
work.
can look for every word because I
No.
promise you.
wait, word. How many how do you clump these? Are they phrases?
Is this-
This
is
a
this-
patent?
Are you just picking single words out and then making something
It's-
mysterious?
Do
and
you
scary?
ask how?
She has a poem patent on this.
Yeah.
You ask how a bird flies or how a fish can swim? He does it because he was born to do it, and Willy Wonka was born to make candy. I don't know.
Man's got a point.
Do you guys want to do? You guys want to do behind the scenes on how I do my poems? All right, I'll tell you.
We've
French
already
fry
done it.
taters.
No, we know.
Apparently, we don't. Apparently, somebody is questioning
What-
my integrity with these poems.
What? No,
She's
no.
triggered.
That's
She's
it.
triggered.
She's
How is the sausage made?
Hey, boys will be boys.
That's right, boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
I can-
What's in my carnitas?
Do anything. Punches everybody.
you let her believe it.
No.
Were you gonna tell us your process?
No, apparently everybody already knows except for you. So I don't got to prove myself to you. You can
Okay.
just trust me that it is legit.
I
It's
will
a-
trust you
It's a
then.
telegraph.
We'll
She
move
got that from Schoolie J, the jeweler.
School J, the jeweler,
taught
told me
her,
never
yeah,
compromise myself. Now, it is enough for me to know that Brad thinks that my poems are solid gold, and Steve-O does too, and so does Dave. You can question them.
When
if
did
you
I
want.
say they weren't solid gold?
No, it's you said they were solid gold.
Jump into some
want-
conclusions.
I want to know what School J did. Does he know about your?
He doesn't, and to be quite honest, I don't know if I really trust his judgment. So I'll keep my poems to myself for now and to the verbal assault listeners.
It's a select few. It's a proud group.
Select very few. Yeah.
I will turn my poems into a book one day, and it will be available for sale.
On Spotify.
It'll be an actual book. And
An audiobook too, yeah. Put that up there.
That'd be way easier. Just cut out all the slips of the podcast, turn it into an audiobook.
yeah, I think
Don't let me ruin the creative process.
I think if I was gonna create an
How
audiobook, I'd go through
Dare
and
you suggest?
read them all without interference. I don't know. Some of them are pretty good with the laughter in the background.
That's
Sorry, go ahead.
the laughter makes you feel good.
Some of them get you though. She'll
They
say
just
a
get
line,
you.
it's too much.
Feels a little too
There
much.
were a couple of good ones the last few weeks, actually.
Nathan, were you about to correct me for
Me too.
mansplaining like the Gillette commercial told you to?
Brad, I will never do that ever.
All right.
Mansplaining.
Just making sure you're not falling into the hands of a
No.
faceless corporation
No.
bent on selling razors to pussies.
Razors to pussies to shave pussies.
You beat me to it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for a great podcast. Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song.
If you want to be, oh shit! Sorry, Kegel. We'll get to your voicemail next week.
Damn.
Next week.
Is Kegel in the chat?
No, not that I know.
Only Export Cupid stopped by.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if you want to be a part of the show, we may forget about you till next week. Just call that phone number 865-216-6955. Or watch us on the stream.
When you've got yourself a quarter in the pocket, I tell you what number you should dial. It'd be 865-316-6955. Go on there. Tell everybody about your jollies.
You can also check us out live Friday nights, roughly 10 o'clock or 11 or, you know.
We're going to go with a solid 11:15.
And that is at mixer.com/verbal assault podcast. Give us a follow, give us a like, tell your friends. You can
Tell
also
your enemies. Tell anybody.
You can also give us some money at patreon.com/verbal assault.
And we do recognize that listening to the podcast for farm animals helps them produce more.
And if you do give us money, I promise we will use it to buy Gillette razors.
Or Cam
Or
Chaka.
Venus.
Okay. All right.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Yep.
Get up there, turn it off.
Great.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
And,
Do this.